You know that something is about to be revealed. There is no way to ignore the signs anymore. The truth, this uncontrollable force, is approaching. Someone close makes empty promises. Someone hides behind smiles. The weight of the secret is unbearable, like pressure at a breaking point, and you, in anticipation, start to question. You wait, look for clues, try to fit pieces of a puzzle that don't come together. Meanwhile, reality continues to unfold. This person avoids, silences, waits, does not reveal. And you feel anxious, doubt, justify, remain waiting. None of this is accidental. It is a repetitive pattern. The truth accumulates, but fear prevents its release. The bond is sustained because you allow it. Not because it is strong, but because the lack of revelations creates expectation. Those who carry a secret do not need to explain. Those awaiting the revelation live in a cycle of uncertainty. Today you are facing a turning point. The choice to know or remain in the dark is in your hands. The truth is near, something needs to change. And this change does not come from outside. It requires action on your part. Reality is about to be exposed. The cost of this choice is yours. You realize it. Anxiety turns into a shadow, constant and heavy, and with each passing day, the silence becomes more deafening. You can no longer ignore the furtive glances, the conversations suddenly interrupted. The laughter that once seemed genuine now sounds like empty echoes, far from any truth. This person withdraws, whispers, promotes illusions, and you observe, question, seek answers in every gesture, every word. The pattern repeats like a vicious, unbreakable cycle. You wait for a sign, for a change, but reality continues to unfold unalterably. The truth remains hidden in a labyrinth where you are the only prisoner. The fear of facing this revelation transforms into an invisible prison. You try to justify your stay. It's easier this way. Leaving the comfort zone requires courage, and this courage seems to slip through your fingers like sand. Each day you delay deciphering the enigma, the pressure increases. The secret weighs on your chest like an anchor. You feel deep down in your soul that something is wrong, that the dynamic between you is not healthy, but the familiarity of the suffering becomes a kind of anesthesia. And there comes a moment when you realize the real cost is not just dishonesty or betrayal, it's your own choice to remain captive in this situation. You ignore the alarming evidence. You close your eyes to the lies that accumulate. You refuse the opportunity to be honest with yourself. Meanwhile, life goes on. Others around you live their routines, their dramas, their truths. And you? You carry this burden alone, like a secret that can never be shared. You make the effort to maintain appearances, to avoid the internal storm, but the tumultuous sea of feelings stirs within you. In this silent struggle, something begins to change. It is not the discovery of the truth that scares you, but the acceptance of it. The idea that you may have been deceived, manipulated, makes anger arise, an anger that until then was contained, imprisoned by the barriers of fear and uncertainty. This new feeling is strange. It is both fuel and poison at the same time. You find yourself in a dilemma. Releasing this energy could mean confronting the person, exposing the truth, but it could also result in a painful breakup. You consider the implications, and the question echoes in your mind. Is it worth it? You weigh the options. Staying in the darkness is safe, but it is also stagnant. Fighting for revelation means giving up that precarious safety. It is this struggle that brings to light the deeper question: what do you really want? The answer is not clear, and it is this ambiguity that consumes you. You feel the fragility of the relationship. Every time this person laughs, every gesture seems laden with irony, and you know that expectation is a silent thief. It steals your time, your energy, your peace of mind. Inside you, a deafening scream demands freedom. The revelation arrives like a hurricane, and the only certainty you have is that you cannot continue living like this. This may be the first real decision you have made in a long time, a step toward the unknown. The price of silence is unbearable, and the urgency to know becomes a beacon in the fog. When you finally confront the person, the tension is palpable. You feel your heart racing. At this moment, the truth is no longer a possibility, it's a fate. This is the time. The choice has been made. What you discover is devastating. The empty promises disintegrate like smoke in the air. The manipulation has been exposed, and the pain of betrayal is almost unbearable. But incredibly, you also experience a sense of relief. The darkness gives way to an uncomfortable but true reality. And from this point, everything changes. You cannot control what happened, but you can control your reaction. You decide to leave that burden behind. The weight of lies dissolves as you move forward. Your choice has been made. You are no longer a hostage to the cycle. The truth, as cruel as it may be, is an ending that opens doors to new beginnings. And now the choice is yours. The cost was high, but reality has been presented. You find yourself in uncharted territory. The ground beneath your feet is unstable, but the truth no longer weighs you down. Now, it is a conscious choice. You look at your own history with more critical eyes. The past resurfaces like an echo. Each laugh transforms into a lament. That person who once seemed unshakable now reveals weaknesses you ignored. The conversations you had seem like a silent film, where everything was a facade. The perception of love unfolds. You were not loved. You were manipulated. And this new understanding is as sharp as broken glass. What's next? You feel anger, but not just for the betrayal. You blame yourself for having remained blind for so long. The weight of denial weighs on your shoulders, and the sense of freedom mingles with a poison of regret. It is an internal battle. You want to scream, but the words get stuck in your throat. Silence now is a deliberate choice. The world outside seems indifferent. The people on the street come and go, absorbed in their own lives. They don't know what you carry. The pain becomes a constant companion, like a loyal dog that never leaves its owner. Even so, reality begins to slowly take shape. One day, you find yourself alone at home, the light filtering through the curtains. The space is familiar, but it is laden with new meanings. You start to question what you truly desire. The image of who you were before this revelation crumbles into pieces. There is no return. What you built was based on lies. You seek to understand what it means to be reborn after betrayal. The first decision to be made is the simplest, yet the hardest. Clean the environment. Remove objects that bring bitter memories. Your house, your sacred space, should reflect the internal transformation. Each item you touch rekindles the pain, but also the promise of renewal. You bid farewell to pieces that will never again serve their purpose. The photos pile up in a box. Frozen smiles in time now translate into illusions. Looking at each one, you take a deep breath. It is no longer about what was built, but about what can be done in the future. You see an exposed wound, but at the same time an open field for new possibilities. The pain does not completely disappear. It remains a scar that can be touched but no longer bleeds. You realize that healing is not linear. Each day brings moments of weakness. A song can bring tears. A place can revive memories. Every step forward has a price, and that price is your truth. Interactions with other people change. Trust that was once free now comes with caution. Every look becomes a test, every word an implicit promise. You learn to discern what is genuine from what is superficial. After betrayal, you can no longer hide your vulnerability, but you also do not want to conceal it. This inner strength awakens something unknown within you. True bonds are formed as you open yourself to the possibility of trusting again. Friends become even more important. They are anchors in the turbulent sea of emotions. Without realizing it, you begin to share fragments of your experience. And as you speak, you realize that these stories are not just yours, they are universal. Other people also carry secrets, fears, traumas. This creates a web of connection, a deep understanding that goes beyond the superficial. And then, in the midst of this process, a new opportunity arises. Someone enters your life. It is different. He or she does not bring empty promises, but a real willingness to walk alongside you. It is not immediate love, but a connection based on respect and sincerity. The chemistry is there, but the ground is delicate. You find yourself hesitant, but willing to learn to love again. The first meetings are cautious. There are moments when you close yourself off, but there are also unexpected laughs, deep conversations. Shared vulnerability ends up creating a space of trust. This new someone does not force anything. He is like a mirror, showing parts of yourself that you had even hidden from yourself. Gradually, you realize that the previous revelation was not an end, but a new beginning. You are no longer a hostage to the past. You simply are. And that is enough. The journey is long, and the road is full of challenges, but each step now is yours, chosen by you. The new love can be a seed in fertile soil, but it requires care, and you are willing to water it. This freedom is a state of mind. the choice to live fully without the shackles of fear. This new phase is a dance between the known and the unknown. You learn to say no when necessary, to step away from old patterns, and thus reality continuously transforms, without promises but with possibilities. And finally, you understand that the truth may hurt, but it is also the key to true freedom. The cost was high, but the liberation was worth it. You walk toward your future, not as a fugitive from the past, but as a warrior, ready to face whatever comes. You move forward, but the past whispers in your ear. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in memories. They have a way of infiltrating your thoughts like a silent virus that doesn't disappear. A song plays and nostalgia comes alive. Flashbacks emerge. Moments that once were filled with happiness now turn into shadows. You ask yourself, have I truly left everything behind? Doubt sets in like an unwanted visitor. The new love watches you. He perceives your hesitations, but does not pressure. There's a calmness in him that attracts you, but it also scares you. You almost feel like you are carrying a secret again, a new form of self-imposition. Life seems to flow, but the fragility of trust manifests in small gestures. In a conversation about past relationships, you hesitate. Instead of opening your heart, you prefer to dive into silence. And this choice weighs heavily, he tries to understand. You can share, he says, his voice soft like a whisper trying to penetrate the barrier you've built. But you find yourself paralyzed. The pain is still fresh, like a wound that hasn't completely healed. Talking about it seems to expose your vulnerabilities, your deepest insecurities. So in this space of uncertainty, fear begins to draw new contours in the relationship. You feel that you are protecting yourself, but at the same time you are distancing yourself from what could be a genuine connection. You try to ignore the doubts, but they persist, like a dark cloud hovering over a sunny sky. Over time, small situations accumulate. A glance that lasts a second longer than it should. A laugh that echoes a little too loudly. Is he being sincere? This question repeats. The new love tries to break this barrier. He suggests a weekend in a quiet place, a retreat in the midst of nature, away from daily distractions. You hesitate but decide to give in. Something inside you yearns for this experience. Who knows what might emerge away from the walls you've built? However, even there, the shadow of the past is present. As you walk along a trail, you observe the details around you, the sound of leaves, the smell of the damp ground. Everything is beautiful and revitalizing, but there is a weight. You get lost in your own thoughts as he talks, and you realize that you are creating a silent distance between you. He mentions a movie, a light conversation, but you can't keep up. Your mind is caught in memories of similar moments, but filled with lies. It's as if the beauty of the scenario around you is a reflection of something you've already lost and can never recover. As they walk down the trail, the new love holds your hand. A simple gesture, but loaded with meaning, an invitation to connect. And in that moment, something unexpected happens. You feel tears in your eyes, not from sadness, but from the realization that there is someone there, willing to face the discomforts with you. The recognition of his effort brings an unexpected warmth. For a moment, you think about opening up, sharing the hurt, the weight of unfulfilled promises, but the dry mouth and tight throat block the truth. The idea of exposing the pain still seems scary. However, you realize that this is an opportunity for transformation, not just for you, but for the relationship. That night, while contemplating the stars, you find yourself torn between the desire to tell everything and the fear of revealing yourself. He looks at you, seeking answers in your eyes, and in that silence, you feel an internal call. The sensation that what you are holding needs to be released. Finally, you take a deep breath and say, "I am scared." The words come out haltingly, as if a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. He does not react hurriedly. He just listens, his gaze fixed on your expression. And then something changes. Fear does not disappear but becomes less oppressive. By verbalizing, you begin to see the structure of what you intend to build, a new foundation. He encourages you to continue. "It's okay," he says. "We are in this together." Each word carries weight. You share fragments of your story, not as a manifesto of pain, but as a warning, a reminder that every feeling is valid and that vulnerability can be a bridge, not a burden. And so, through sincere words and knowing glances, you begin to realize that true intimacy is not just about being physically close. It is a dance of souls that need to recognize each other. a dance where both are willing to face their fears together. The new love becomes a safe harbor, something you never knew you needed. And slowly, the desire to let go transforms into a light at the end of the tunnel. You cannot change what has happened, but you can choose not to let it define who you will be. Over time, the echoes of memories become gentle. The marks of the past are part of who you are but do not make up the whole. You allow yourself to be seen as a human being in constant evolution. You let go of self-criticism and begin to value the strength that emerged from each pain. Now, in your new relationship, there is room to grow, to discover what true love means, free from unrealistic expectations. And as you walk through this new phase, life reveals itself full of opportunities, each inviting, challenging, and hopeful at the same time. Thus you realize that freedom is not about forgetting, but about learning to carry the wounds with dignity. Each step forward can be an act of courage. And finally, you understand that the choice was always yours. It is time to live fully.